Welcome, 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 my tarot maniacs, to another installation of Mixtape Monday. So we have a lot of new subs to the channel. I thought I'd take a minute to explain what Mixtape Monday is all about. Mixtape Monday is an opportunity for you guys to drive the content. So basically what I want you to do, what I'd like you to do, what I hope you enjoy doing, is putting your questions in about pop culture events, world events, political things, celebrity gossip. Put it in the questions. I will select some of them. I get a lot every week. You can email them. You can put them in the chat on this video, or you can put them in. I do put a post up over the weekend so that you guys can start to build some questions in there. I'm going to try and answer as many of them as I can. Some of them I will be answering in shorts. That's coming up this week. I'm going to have some fun doing that later on tonight. What I don't do in Mixtape Monday is I don't answer personal questions because it's a production video. I do want you there when you're getting your reading and you're getting your feedback. So I do personal reads on $5 Friday. So $5 Friday is a live that I do. It doesn't always wind up on Friday. Sometimes my schedule gets a little crazy. I should be able to do a $5 Friday this week. I think it's going to be a little bit later in the day though, than my usual time. So, you can take advantage of that, or I am having a first timer sale this week. So Tuesday, today's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I have a super special going on. It's the best pricing I have ever given on any of my hour readings. And it is for first timers only. So if you've gotten a reading from me before, please don't schedule one. If you do by mistake, that's okay. We'll talk. But, this is just for people that would like to get a reading and just have been a little bit nervous about making the appointment. You can use the link down below. It will be linked on, I'll put a specific link for the sale, and then I'll put a link for my general scheduler if you guys want to jump in on that. So if you've already had a reading with me, or if you want to do something different like past life regression, or you want to do a full year, something like that, hour and a half, 2-hour sessions, I have all kinds of stuff. So now that we've got that cleared up, so I hope to see some of you in my schedule, some newbies. It's always nice. I do these all on Zoom or Google Meet. Sometimes I do it on Facebook Messenger or even WhatsApp. I do for my international clients. That is seems to work really great for them. So we can actually do a video chat on that as well. That way you can see the cards. I don't necessarily need to see you, but I do like you to see the cards. So I hope that whets your appetite and clears things up. So for this week, featured deck of the week. Da, 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 da. And I haven't done my teaspoon of tarot for the week yet. I'm going to be doing all of that later on tonight. I've had a very busy weekend. We are going to be using the Madame Clara 5-penny tarot. This deck is not available on Amazon. It's actually an Etsy deck, but I am going to link to it. It's a great deck, and I'm going to tell you, there's the 5-penny tarot, and there's also the 2-penny oracle. Kind of got to get both. Collect the whole set. So I don't get any kickbacks or anything from this. This is just one of my favorite decks. It's a great deck. I'll feature it in the Teaspoon of Tarot this week. It's a great deck because it does have keywords on it. So if you're a new learner, if you don't want to rely on the Rider-Waite imagery, because it is different imagery on here, you can get this deck and kind of learn along with the keywords. So that I don't think that that's a cheat. I think that that's an easy way to learn. And when I was learning tarot, and you're going to do a Meet the Psychic video. I'm going to have a Meet the Psychic day in Annabelle's life on Sunday. So I'm going to introduce you guys to my original deck that I used way back when I was an itty bitty 17-year-old. So you'll get to see some cool stuff in that. But I don't think the keywords are a cheat. I think that they're great. So 5 minutes in, let's pull up the cards. So Before I do that, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, consider it. I've gotten a lot of new subscribers lately. I try and give you guys engaging, fun content. And I also try and give you the opportunity to drive the content like I'm doing in this Mixtape Monday. So we're going to be taking some questions off the post from yesterday. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. I hope everybody had a great weekend. First question. Will we ever find out about the missing Malaysia? That's really hard to say. Missing Malaysia Airlines flight 337 or 370. We ever going to find out about the missing plane? So let's see. That's a unique question. Unique question.
Well, people think we're shot down by Russian.
I think they do think it was a misfire or something like that, or a mistake. So, but the question is, are we ever going to find out? Sorry, my chair is very squeaky. Are we ever going to find out about it? Let's see. 7 of matches. It can go either way. So this is a 7 of wands energy, 7 of wands, unstable energy. There are some things that are not in place to find it, some things that are not in place to conceal it. So it is questionable. Let's see what crosses that. Let's see what supports it. We got the magician. If they get a crafty engineer on this, a flight engineer, not a regular structural or mechanical engineer, but a flight engineer that can like triangulate and calculate where that plane would have been at a given time, I think they will be able to find it. So do we see that in the future, in the next 6 months? Let's say 6 months. 9 of wands, concealed. 6 months, still concealed. How about in the next year? 5 of matches, still 5 of wands, unstable energy. Skip forward. Do we know about it in the next 5 years? 4 of needles. No, I think this is going to be something that takes some time to come to the surface. So literally, this is something that I could very easily do a remote view on and see if we've got, water sense there, ground sense, lush stuff. When you do remote views, you will get those sensations of being in water, being on ground, being surrounded by lush plants, those kinds of things. It's a little disturbing that I'm saying all those things, isn't it, Greg? A little boggy. It's a little tropical bog. So that's something I have a spreadsheet that has all of my potential readings on it. So I'm going to add a category that's remote view. So I think you guys are going to get more remote views. Like maybe we'll do remote view Thursday or something. My schedule seems to be celebrating. My schedule celebrates a lot of royal stuff. You guys seem to really like it. So good segue right into this next question. So who was the Markles in previous life? So who were, yes. So we can start with Megan. Let's find the and just to give you a little brief on past life stuff. So when I do my past life regressions with clients, if they have a specific thing they want to look into, say like a fear of heights or a fear of caterpillars or a fear of centipedes, Greg. Centipedes. Fear of centipedes. If I see a centipede, I'm not right for 6 months. I'm not okay. Like that centipede stays with me. So I have some kind of an issue with centipedes somewhere in my world. But
it's from a video game.
I love that video.
It gets faster. It gets really.
Yeah. I love the video game Centipede. So if they have a particular phobia or a particular relationship that they want to kind of tweeze out the causation of it and see if they can heal it by going into a past life, I'm totally game for that. But sometimes people don't have anything that they want to look at. There's just a curiosity, like, who was I? And in that case, I always say, let's go back to a lifetime that is the most impactful on this particular lifetime. So let's see what is the most impactful past life on Meghan Markle in this lifetime. You ready? Let's go. I'm going to bring up the cards. I still use cards for this, guys, but a lot of it's going into psychic stuff, and I'm probably going to pull out some Lenormand. Seven of Buttons in reverse. So that's Seven of Pentacles. Hanged Man. Nine of Matches, securing that bag. Five of Matches. The Sun. And what's our final outcome card? Let's go. Boom. Ace of Cups. So I do think that this has been the lifetime that is most affecting her this time. And it makes a lot of sense when you look at the scope of how she is approaching marriages and relationships and ambition, because the Seven of Pentacles, the flow and sustainability of monies in her past life, in this one particular past life, is inconsistent, unstable, and trying to rectify the causes for that, looking at it with perspective, but unable with this Nine of Matches, really unable to change those things in the past. So digging one's heels in and really putting her back up against the wall and not allowing this instability of money happen again. Over here, Five of Matches, willing to juggle lots of things. So what does that mean? I think that means playing a lot of games, having different avenues of individuals that she was taking success and money from. I do think that this is a more masculine lifetime that we're looking at here, but it's a dependent lifetime. So it almost feels like a young man grifter. But there's still a feminine energy there. I'm not getting the sense that we have a lot of electricity or running water, those kinds of things. I think this is a lifetime where one would be appealing to certain court circumstances. And it does feel to a certain extent that she is possibly a young gay male working over, and I'm sorry guys, like, don't judge me, a young gay male that is working over a number of different patrons, for lack of a better word, to, yes, absolutely, to success. So very attractive. I am getting, this is not someone who could hide that proclivity in court. This is someone who was out and obvious. A lot of people talk about Meghan and Harry possibly being Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII. No, I disagree. I don't think that they are, because that lesson hopefully has been learned, and they wouldn't necessarily be in the same dynamic going through the same issue. We, within our soul groups that we are doing different lessons with, we shift around, we change gender, we change roles. Sometimes you're the mother, sometimes you're the son. My son's been my son a few times, so I think he's sick of it. It's kind of evident in this lifetime. He doesn't want me to boss him around anymore. But I think that this is somewhat in that courtly era. I do think that this is Henry VIII, his court adjacent. I think these were minor players within the court, and there is a certain amount of social climb, but it's social climb in the background. So much like Varys in Game of Thrones or the Song of Ice and Fire, kind of working things in the background, but not selling secrets like Varys. For those of you that are my the Iron Throne, fandom, it feels much more that this was for sustainability. And not that, he disliked these different patrons. I'm going to call them patrons. Not that he disliked these patrons or was using them, just that reciprocal relationship. And I talk about reciprocal relationships all the time. Individuals will ingratiate yourself to them. This was a situation where it wasn't so much an ingratiation, but I hate to say an exchange of goods because it really sounds like prostitutka. For those of you that speak Russian, prostitutka. I don't even know if the YouTube algorithm makes that up. So we'll see what it does in the closed captioning.
Courtesan.
But the what? A courtesan. Courtesan. It does feel very much like that, but with concurrent groups and to great success. This was to great success, but at the expense of not having love, because everything is so superficial and surface. There is not this grand love, this great love that goes into eternity. Do I feel Harry in this situation? Absolutely not. I don't feel him anywhere in this. So I don't think that he's one of the courtesans, but I do think that some of her family members may have been those courtesans, again, in a different fashion, not a family member doing the I word or anything like that. But I do think that they were perhaps individuals that invested, for lack of a better term, into this particular incarnation of Meghan Markle, and didn't get what they wanted. So, whether that was compliance, adoration, commitment, they just didn't get what they wanted. This is a very solo kind of person who is not going to be pinned down into one situation because another opportunity may crop up. Sounds really familiar with her current life. It just seems like that. So what is the lesson? What is the lesson? If we get that most impactful, what is the lesson that she was supposed to learn, that her spirit was supposed to learn in the last lifetime? What was the lesson? The universe in reverse. 9 of Cups, 4 of Cups. So the universe in reverse is a life not well lived. A life of regret. On our deathbed, we are staring up at the ceiling going, if only I should have. And the 9 of Cups is in reverse too. So an empty life of sort. We get this 4 of Cups, which is manifesting, laying there going, I wish that there was someone here to hold my hand. I wish there was one particular person that I really cared about that would sit here and hold my hand and see me out the door in this lifetime. I think that is the lesson that should have been learned in this lifetime. Is that lesson learned coming into this lifetime? Or do we have someone who is going to pa-ping, pa-ping, pa-ping from husband to husband, partner to partner, and then have a deathbed where they are all alone? We saw that with Wallace Simpson. Poor Wallace Simpson on the way out. Yeah, I still think Wallace Simpson gets a little bit of a raw deal. So was that lesson learned coming into this lifetime? The Devil in reverse. Nope. 5 of buttons in reverse, 4 of buttons there. Securing the bag is the most important thing here. And I you don't have to be a psychic to know that, guys. So most of you out there can hear, you can pick up what I'm laying down. So the Devil in reverse, we have not yet. And I want to remind everybody, when I do reversals, when I teach reversals, my students love this because they're like, yay, we're going to learn the opposite of this card, what this card means when it goes upside down. Wrong. I do not teach it that way. How I teach it is we have 6 versions of the card. So increasing energy, stable energy, decreasing energy, increasing energy, stable energy, decreasing energy. So reversals do not necessarily mean the opposite. In this case, with this particular reading, what we have is that the adherence, the dependence on finance, riches, creature comforts is not yet given up. And the instability of funding and finance and financial stability is still not rectified. Gaining the money, this is the main goal, the main goal. So no, I don't think that she's necessarily successfully learned the lessons of her experience. So all right, I'm just going to pause the video while I find another question for you guys. Thanks so much for your questions so far. All right, so we've got Karen Cultus. Is Canada bankrupt, owing the U.S. hundreds of millions of dollars, and is this why Trump hinted about the 51st statehood? Oh, I just got to pause for 1 second. All right, kids. So, is Canada bankrupt? Let's ask that question first. Ace of matches, no, I don't think so. I think economy is something that it's not really bankrupt or not bankrupt. It's not like the way our personal finances work as regular people. Like either you're out of money or you're flush with money. So that ace of matches means that there are other means and other ways that finance can come in. Ideas, really. With the matches, we have inspiration, passions, those kinds of things. And I do think that the Canadian people have had such a response to Trump suggesting that they become the 51st state. Now we have the added interesting conversation about Trump talking about becoming an associate member of the Commonwealth, which I will be talking about a little bit later on this week, because I think that that's a very interesting offer of his. Very out of character, if you ask me. But I think that the Canadian people are ready to roll up their sleeves and do what they need to do to not have that kind of transition of leadership. A lot of people weren't happy with Trudeau. I know a lot of my Canadian friends have very, very strong opinions about Trudeau, and they're glad that he's gone, but they have questions about the incoming leadership. So, or present sitting leadership, I should say. So, do they owe America, the United States, hundreds of millions of dollars? Yes, but we owe money elsewhere too. So, it all, six in one hand, a half dozen in the other. So, is this why Trump hinted at the 51st statehood? Knight of Needles, Knight of Buttons, Page of Buttons. So I do think that this was something just flipped. He's bombastic. He does not say things without meaning them in the whole. Like when he is talking about policy, like that's a well thought out thing. But when he's riffing from a dais, I do think some things come out of his mouth that are curious. So the Knight of Needles, I think he did say, but I think he was, and I don't want to say thinking out loud, because it creates this suggestion that he's not cognizant about what he's saying, that he's just like diarrhea of the mouth is something we say here in the United States. But I think it was something he was thinking out loud and almost brainstorming out loud, like to the audience that he was in front of. So yes, did he think that that was potentially a beneficial financial move for the United States and Canada? Yeah, I do think he thought that in the moment, like maybe that's a good idea. And the Page of Buttons goes back to the drawing board and says, maybe there's something neat we can do here. Perhaps that's where we see this possible connection with King Charles and becoming an associate member of the Commonwealth. As far as I know, there are no associate members of the Commonwealth, which is very interesting. So very neat. I wonder if I could be like an exchange student, an exchange psychic. So good question. Now, Isabel Steele, this wasn't necessarily a Mixtape Monday question, but she watched my Farage I had the 3 for Tuesday last week. And she said, I think the story changed since you read the cards. Turns out he's not so in touch with his followers anymore. He won't be sending illegal immigrants back. And that's number one on the people of the UK's list of what they want. So let's see, did Nigel Farage change his mind about the way he was going to lead should he obtain a prime ministership? Is it prime ministership? Help me out there. Let me know. Prime ministry? Love ministry. So, did Nigel Farage change his mind? Did he change his mind? Let's see. 10 of Cups. 6 of Needles in reverse. The Hangman. Oh, it looks like he did, guys. Page of Matches and the King of Cups. Give him a little bit of time. I think he's going to modify that statement. I don't think he was dipping his toe in the water to see how that would work. But I think he was trying to find a moment of moderation so that he could reach out and kind of clear the smoke screen with some of the more liberal minded individuals in government. I think that's what he was trying to do. Not the people, but the agents in government. I think that's what he was trying to do. 6 of Needles. This is saying, you know what? I can't get us all the way there. I can't just say, everybody get out like Jim Brewer, tequila, get out. If you haven't seen, Jim Brewer does, what was it? Stomach as a bartender, or
Yeah,
your stomach is a bouncer. Jim Brewer, the comedian, look it up. Your stomach is the bouncer, and at the end of the party, tequila comes in and blah, blah, everybody gets out. So I didn't ruin the joke, but watch it. It's hilarious. Scotch shows up. Hold on, you look it up. That was the worst Scottish accent ever. It was Irish. Maybe I think his was Irish. It sounded more Irish if I remember it.
He's a Scottish. No, he didn't do Scottish.
He didn't do a Scottish accent. He did an Irish accent. He had the instead of the.
Sure, it wasn't Guinness.
It was not Guinness because the beer was German. All right, back to the cards. I could talk to Gregopedia all day. Say hello, Gregopedia.
From the slap. Hello.
From the slap. We're really late today. So 6 of Needles, the Hangman. This he's going to realize was a bad move. Page of Matches, going to try and dial this back. This was a moment, I think it was a bridge building moment. Like, all right, well, maybe this is what we're going to do. And to be sure, like I'm just seeing Isabel's comment here. I didn't see anything in the news yet. I've been running around. Angus had a competition yesterday. For a hot minute, I had a little segment of him performing, and then I found out that I couldn't post that as I pulled it down. So 8 of you saw it. So I hope you enjoyed it. They came in second. So, which is not cool. They should have come in first. But I do think with this King of Cups, I think Nigel Farage is going to dial it back. I think he is going to really make a change to that. This was just a moment. So what made him do this? Was there an external influence? I just want to see. External influence here. Was there an external influence? The Lovers. Yeah, the external influence really was trying to meet some of these agents of government. I'm just going to say agents of government because I don't know what level they are. This was trying to meet on that ground. Ace of Matches, it was a bad idea. 6 of Matches, really bad idea. Queen of Needles, excellently bad idea. So will this give him less of a chance to win, to be prime minister? Is this going to knock him down a few pegs? Page of Matches, King of Cups. Yeah, you know what? And the Unknown in reverse. I think people are really going to give pause to rally their support behind him. I think there's going to be a pause about that. So does this give Rupert Lowe, who I find very interesting, who was the guy that went to at University Challenge on the Young Ones? There was Hugh Laurie, there was Emma Thompson,
Stephen Fry.
Was it Stephen Fry? Yeah. Something about and anyone that's in England or in the United Kingdom can yell at me, but there's something about Rupert Lowe that reminds me of Stephen Fry. I don't know. He just kind of reminds me of Stephen Fry. So tell me if I'm wrong. I'm blushing as I'm saying this. I've got a Porsche.
That's the wrong answer, but I know your father. So 2 points.
2 points. Who was the MC?
I forget his name.
I always remember him as being Bob Geldof. I'm like, it was Bob Geldof. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Bob Geldof. All right. So how's Rupert Lowe? Is this going to get Rupert Lowe some attention? We're going to have people flipping over. Empress in reverse, 2 of cups. Not necessarily, you know, when your heroes, and by heroes, I'm talking about, the people, the way they looked at Nigel Farage, because he really has been a dude for the dudes, a dude for the dudes and dudettes, a man of the people. Not a bro, but, speaking for the people. They're like, everyone's kind of holding back. Like, we're just going to wait and see. We're going to wait and see how you act up and what you do. So I don't think that this gives Stephen Fry. This doesn't give Stephen Fry a chance to run for prime minister. It doesn't give Rupert Lowe, the golden ticket to kind of pass on through. So I'm very curious. We're going to have to keep an eye on this. I have no idea what I'm doing for 2 for Tuesday, because I ran some ideas through AI and they wanted me to do Harry and William, and you guys have already heard that. So let's see.
Whenever I hear the name Rupert, I think of Stewie's stuffed bear.
I'm sorry?
Whenever you hear the name Rupert, I think of Stewie's stuffed bear in Family Guy.
Okay.
And when he's imagining him, he's always fit and muscular.
So is everything over for Nigel Farage? Because I got another comment from Josephine Murphy. Hi, Josephine. Josephine, I don't think I've watched the news since last week. So let's take a look at, is it over for Nigel Farage? Is it over? Did he just blow it? 3 of buttons. Ooh, king of buttons. 9 of buttons underneath. 2 of matches. Strength in reverse. There was a lot more consensus prior to this revelation. A lot more consensus with this 2 of matches, the 3 of buttons. It's like, the small, medium, and large, the conservative, moderate, and middle ground, or conservative, liberal, and middle ground of his base really early. I think he kind of tipped his hand here. So 3 of matches, he's got to win like all 3. I know there's not 3 sections of the party, but in any political environment, you have moderates, you have liberals, and you have conservatives, meaning within your party, within your political proclivities. So he's got to win back all 3 of those parts. And I think that is a Herculean task. So what were the stables called?
Thracian stables.
The Thracian?
I think so. Yeah, because there's Thracian horses.
What is the Eugean stables? Why do I always say the Eugean stables?
Aegean.
Aegean?
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, because I thought it was Thracian horses, which supposedly ate meat and fed on the enemies.
Okay.
That's why their stables were exceptionally dirty.
Oh, okay. Is that where we get Thestrals from in Harry Potter?
From what?
Harry Potter. Potter. So I think he's got quite a trick ahead of him. Let's give him a yellow brick road. Let's see what kind of yellow brick road we get. Two of needles, 6 of needles. Oh boy, hangman again in reverse. 9 of matches, 4 of matches. I think he kind of blew it. Right now, the energy says, shush. Right now, the energy is like, hey, you gotta just leave this be for a little bit. maybe talk to a really good PR director. I will have to look at him a little bit more later this week. Poor Nigel Farage. He's this close. He was this close. But all right, so we're 35 minutes in. I think that's about it for today. That was actually a lot of goodies for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed this. Again, put your questions down below. If I can't answer them in the next week's Mixtape Monday, and next week is going to be bananas for me, I will try and answer it in shorts. So that's going to be a new strategy for me to get content to you guys, because I can't always do like the full-blown videos. I can't always do a full-blown video for a single question. Sometimes it just doesn't have the length and breadth that I need. So I will do them in short. So I hope you guys like that. I'm going to keep doing the teaspoon of tarot because my students out there love it, but we're going to augment that. You'll get 1 teaspoon of tarot every day, and then you will get like a little short with some pop culture. So I hope you guys like that. I'm still tinkering with my format here. I want to make sure that I entertain you guys as much as possible. Invisalign is working. I think I'm going to have it off in the next 2 weeks, and I'll get my teeth all polished up, and I won't have my attachments on here. Apparently, none of you can see my attachments, but I can, because it looks like my teeth are wonky. They're not. They're just the attachments. So, and I'll be
spectacular smile.
They are spectacular. And I'll be able to do my teeth whitening, and I'll be like, fabulous. So thank you so much. Again, I want to remind everybody, I have a first timer sale going on this week. The pricing is unbelievable. It's better than the specials that I do for one of the Facebook groups that I'm involved in. And it's better than the discount that I give to my membership. So it's only for 3 days. I don't know if I'll do it again. Let's see if you guys want to jump in. I'd love to see some new faces. I'd love to see some new people. I'm going to be super, super busy, head down for the next 3 days doing that. And hopefully I will see you. So have a great afternoon. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the subscribing and being a member and all those things. You guys are great. You're making every day my favorite day. So I will see you in the future.